Rosé and readings under the moonlight, tarot and laughter in the witching night. Spooky but sassy, the vibe's just right. Char, and Lauren make the dark so bright.
Hey, Shadow People! Before we kick off this very first episode of Rosé and Readings, we do need to issue a tiny little ghostly disclaimer. This was our first time recording live together and testing out some new equipment in the same room with clinking glasses and little chaotic energy. So the audio isn't exactly up to our usual standards, but consider it part of the charm. Like a haunted EVP, but with more giggling and wine spills. We promise it does get better from here, and we're so excited to bring you along for the ride. If you like what you hear, even if it was a little crackly, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening. It does help more curious creeps like you find the show, and it keeps the ghosts of the algorithm happily haunting. So, without further ado, Rosé and Readings. Welcome to our first episode of Rosé and Readings.
Yay!
Oh, we have to clap our little hands. Okay. Oh my God. We've got lots of fun in store for you guys, but we can tell you a little bit more. So, Rosé and Readings is our monthly special where the spirits are poured and the stories get personal. From listener submitted hauntings to tarot pulls, ghosty guests, and chaotic divination. This is where we put the recaps aside and invite you into the Séance circle. Every month, our ghostly mascot, Planchetina, selects a featured bottle for us to sip and lightly judge throughout the show. We like to call it R&R because it's part Rosé and Readings, part Rest and Reckoning, and 100% Haunted Girl Happy Hour. You'll hear us use that shorthand on the pod.
R&R, not Haunted Girl Happy.
Yeah, I realized that. And probably anytime we need an excuse to drink wine in the name of ghost research. So welcome. We are now on video for those just listening. We hope we're entertaining for you. So we're excited. This is the first time we're recording all in person. We're also trying to figure out our lighting situation here and the daylight. Apparently the sun is now hitting Mel.
I needed to be paler. Is that a ghost? I needed to be more transparent.
Hopefully the sun will move, hopefully, in a short period of time. Okay, well, we're going to move on now to Planchetina's picks with Mel.
All right, now it's time for Planchetina's pick. So in the future, after this episode releases, we will ask you guys every month to recommend your favorite rosés for us to try out on the next Rosé and Readings. And then at the end of the year, we'll have Planchetina's pick of the year for our favorite rosé that we had. So with that, the spirit picks the spirits this month. Planchetina floated straight to a fan favorite bottle that speaks in hushed tones and haunted hints of summer. Is it the wine? Or is it the whispering? Only the ghosts know. So what we are drinking from the haunted hills of Provence, you know, a very pretty vineyard, this pale pink rosé. Somebody model it. Lauren? Charlie? No, like pick it up. Yes, there we go. Put your hand behind it because we're influencers. Okay. Yeah. Okay, from the haunted hills of Provence is this pale pink rosé. It's a light, crisp, and deceptively innocent. Planchetina says it tastes like if a Victorian ghost became an influencer and took you to brunch, but then cursed you. The tasting notes are blush of a flustered seance guest. The nose is a bit soft strawberry peach with a hint of secrets. The palate is dry, citrusy. The finish is that of lingering regret, but making it chic. It pairs well with passive-aggressive ghost notes, linen napkins, and latent psychic abilities. and then accidentally channeling your ex during a tarot reading. We all love that. So that's what we'll be sipping on. It's witchy AF, hauntingly good, possessed, and flat as a planchette. So we're all going to grab a glass as I toast us into the beyond.
Yes. So for those who are not watching us on YouTube, we are holding up our
our
gorgeous filigreed wine.
Nick
You're
and
Nick and
Nora is the brand.
by Rona.
Our wine shallots.
Yes.
Chalets? I don't know what I'm saying.
Kind of coops.
Coops.
They're
Okay.
lacy coops.
All right. To spirits, both fermented and otherworldly, and to this bottle, which may or may not be whispering your name. The bottle is called Whispering Angel.
Whispering Angel. We are now all sipping our rosé.
Yes, we have taken the first sip. So now to introduce you to the game that we will be playing throughout our show tonight. It's called Tarot of the Damned, spooky drinking game. So in college, high school, what have you, whenever you indulged yourself, played Circle of Death or King's Cup. It's like that. So we have spread out our tarot deck in a semicircle here, and each person's going to draw a card, and that card associates with a different type of drink or thing you have to do. The game ends when all the cards are drawn. There are so many more cards in a tarot deck than like classic cards. That can't be when it ends. But
Yeah, well,
And there's only 3 of us.
it ends.
it really
ends,
does.
It ends when the show is over.
Yeah, there we go. And then we'll read out the meanings as we start. So who wants to do one first?
I'll pull first.
Pull.
I'm pulling. Oh, should I pick it out with
Play
my-
along if you're not driving.
Yes. Pull
Grab
up.
yourself
Grab yourself
your tarot.
a tarot deck and lay it out in a semicircle, like spreading the cards out.
Yeah.
And then pick a card along with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
I'm going to use one of my little pointer finger.
yes, that's how you play. You have to use your pointer finger.
Okay. What? That one.
Did you feel drawn to that one?
Yes. This one right here.
All right. Show the audience your card.
Okay. I pulled a 5 of sticks. A 5 of sticks.
5 of wands.
Wands.
Right? Yeah. Show the. Charlie has pulled the 5 of wands.
I have pulled the 5 of sticks.
All right, so 5 of
What is that?
now I'm going to say sticks.
The 5 sticks.
Wands.
Okay. So the numbers 4 through 6, you can give out a drink. So you drew the 5 of wands.
So I have to pour somebody else a drink.
Yes. No,
Lauren?
you have to tell someone to take a drink. Me or Lauren.
You have the most in your glass.
Okay. I have been talking the most. And then also, this was a court card. So you can either make a rule, switch seats, or we could have a staring
We could have a staring contest. That sounds great for a podcast. Let's have a staring contest and see how that goes.
I didn't read that one before. It's such a bad idea, Marge. What the fuck is a haunted stare off? We stare at each other in spooky ways.
I forgot to mention this is for a podcast.
Okay, so wait, my other options were that we could change seats.
Or you can make a rule, yeah.
Oh, or I could make a new rule.
The
are no
rule is
rules.
only for when somebody pulls a wands
So if
card.
some-
You never played?
If somebody else,
Okay, well, this is how it works in Circle of Death.
if somebody else pulls another wands, they have to use this little tiny chalet that we are drinking from as a shot glass and down their whole
You
drink.
know, we're having a sleepover tonight.
It's a drinking game, right?
It could also be like
Charlie only goes by the woman in black until the next rule is or the woman with no face or Charlie can only speak in the person who draws the wands can only speak in the Zach voice until the next rule is drawn.
Whoever pulls another wands card has to speak like they're Zach Bagans.
Laura, why don't you draw a card?
Page of Wands.
You have to talk.
I feel like people are gonna forget that I'm trying to talk like Zach Bagans, and they're gonna be like,
I think-
"What's wrong with?"
Let's be clear that you're going to forget that you have to talk like Zach Bagans.
Yeah, it's okay. It can run out.
Okay. So
Do I put the clock or do I?
we are going to start reading a few of your ghost stories that y'all submitted for us.
Stories, Charlie.
I am so sorry. Tales from the shadows that you guys have been submitting. Nobody has called our spirit line yet except for a salesperson from TikTok.
And the person that's harassing us about our trademark.
The trademark.
Oh, and our trademark spam. So if somebody would please call our spirit line, Lauren will put the number
The number is
right here.
call 404. What is our number?
404-981-4533. So before we get into our Tales from the Shadows, I wanted to tell you guys my own little personal story that got me interested in the paranormal. I grew up, you guys know, I grew up very religious. So I grew up born again Christian in New York, which was
I'm sorry. What does born again Christian mean?
Yeah, born again? I get
the difference between Christianity and Catholicism is that you have to speak to the priest, and then the priest and the Pope, the papacy, whatever it's called, that they speak to God for you on your behalf.
Between Catholicism and Protestant Christianity.
Yes, Protestant Christianity is that you can have a personal relationship with God, and then there's varying degrees because there's so many different versions of Christianity.
Yeah.
They all vary, but I grew up very similar to Pentecostal. I was allowed to wear makeup, but like we spoke in tongues. I still can speak in tongues.
what do you mean? I always thought speaking in tongues was just kind of like not really a thing. Like I mean not I thought it was just someone speaking gibberish.
Right.
Like
Okay. This is one of the things that has me interested in the paranormal, is that I can't explain, nor do I fully understand what I am doing when I speak in tongues.
Are they saying it's like the Holy Spirit coming through
So the
you?
idea is that it's the whole So I'll give you the backstory of what happened for me and where this came from. So my parents got saved when they were teenagers. That saved meaning like they accepted God into their heart and became Christians. Were baptized. They both grew up Catholic initially.
Okay.
So
that's the born again
Part then.
yes.
So you're
So it's
praying.
basically the idea is that you can pray to God for forgiveness and accept that Jesus Christ is your savior, and then you're considered saved or born again. So my parents, this was something they chose. For me, I was born into it. There was no choosing in it. I was told at a very young age, like I was taught to believe everything I was being told at that point. So I didn't know anything outside of what I was being taught. So when I was 6 years old, I prayed in my room because everybody in my church spoke in tongues. And I wanted to basically like accept the Holy Spirit and be able to do it too, because I felt like it was something that was important. And at 6 years old, I started speaking in tongues. Now, what that is, it's not words that I understand. It's not words that I am trying to say. Like I'm not actively trying to do anything. I think the biggest thing I can attribute it to would be like chanting, possibly, but without thinking.
So, question on that, because you're not religious anymore, right? Or are you?
I go to church. There's certain aspects about Christianity that as I've gotten older and kind of did my deconstructing, I have my own belief system in Jesus and in God. And I come from a place of anything is possible. And so I won't say that like it's not possible that that's all true. but I feel like I have a very healthy skepticism about the world. And because of how I grew up, I will never say that I just believe anything blindly or allow another person to dictate what I believe
Yeah.
because I was under so much control.
Well, I noticed that your wedding was religious, like the ceremony was religious, and
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with our families,
Mhm.
and like it's very important for Micaiah's family, and so there's things about religion that can be really beautiful, and there's traditions that I think I still really hold on to, but as far as like the hatred of gay people and the fact that the religious right has really taken over Christianity,
the righteousness of
of like
Being
right
religious,
wing,
yeah.
like politics and just yes, the self righteousness.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was only asking because it's taking this Holy Spirit in. So if you no longer believed in the Holy Spirit,
like how
but
are
you
you
can
able to still
yeah.
channel that?
So I have lots of questions about speaking in tongues and what that actually means, and I've still speak in tongues occasionally because for me it's a very comforting thing to do. So like I'm still praying to God, and I feel like it definitely is something that is important to me. But to your point, like there are some people who believe it's really dangerous to speak in tongues because you don't know what you're saying. And that's actually part of the argument with some Christian religions. Like some of them, they don't think you're supposed to speak in tongues.
It's used in some horror that way, like speaking in tongues as somebody who's possessed.
Oh, like
by the
voodoo, kind of
devil.
like
No, like a demon possession.
oh,
Yeah, like exorcism.
Yeah.
They speak in tongues.
My biggest
Well,
thing,
Satan fell from.
yeah,
So they could come in.
it's a language we don't understand, but that we speak. I don't channel negativity when I do it. I'm channeling something, white light, positivity, and still something that's very powerful and makes me feel connected to something bigger than myself, even though I don't have full understanding of
so
it.
when it happens, it's when it's during prayer.
It's like meditation.
I could do it right now. I'm not going to do it for the podcast.
No, but I'm saying, but you
But-
try to do it. It doesn't just happen out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Like you're trying.
Yeah, no, I have to consciously say to myself, like, okay, I'm going to speak in tongues, but it is like a form of meditation in my opinion. And they've done studies on people, like you put what are those things called? Like noids on their heads.
Oh, nodes.
Nodes. Noids.
You're close.
They
Wait,
put,
it's just your accent.
they put nodes on people's heads and had them speak in tongue to figure out
What was activating in their brain?
yeah, like what was happening in their brain when they did it. And they said that it's not your language center when you're doing it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was being activated?
I don't remember what they said. I think they said maybe it was like closer to either memory or
What I wonder what activates when you don't speak but you make noise. Like if you make a noise in pain or in pleasure, does that probably doesn't activate in language?
Yeah, it's you're not speaking. Not that you're making sounds out of your mouth, but you're not speaking.
Interesting.
It's words that aren't words. So it's like a language. I mean, that's what they say in the Bible too. It's like a language that we don't understand.
Very cool.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's how I grew up. And then I stepped away from the church when I was like in around 23, maybe. And that was hard for me. My school was in my church growing up, so I was there every single day. Like lived in these four walls of this church, did not have a lot of interaction with the outside world. And so going to college in New York City really kind of changed that for me and made me start questioning things. And what started happening is I started having panic attacks before I would go to church. So I would go to the church in my car and be sitting in my car, like having a panic attack before I went inside. And I was like, this can't be healthy.
Yeah.
something is not right. And I
Like
think-
your body's trying to tell you something.
yeah. And I think I just realized that like the way that Christianity was teaching us to be was not right. So yeah, I had panic attacks, stopped going to church, and that really allowed me to kind of open up my mind. And after that, I was like, nobody will ever tell me what I should or should not believe. And it allowed me to start questioning things. My first ghostly paranormal interaction was when I still was going to church. I was with my friend. We were outside her house. It was nighttime. It was probably like around October. And I was like maybe 17 or 18 at the time. So we were sitting outside her house. She had to go in and get her things. And so I waited in the car. And while I'm sitting there, I started to get really uncomfortable. I didn't feel right, which at the time I kept attributing to like, oh, I'm just scared because I'm outside in the dark by myself. But I ended up starting to feel like there was a woman in the car with me. And I couldn't explain that. Like I was just like, how do I know this is in the moment while it's happening, I'm asking myself these questions. Like, how could I know there's a woman in the car? Like, why would I think there's what about this makes me feel like it's a woman? Like it didn't make any sense to me, but I felt something. And so I was like, this is weird. So I got out of the car and I went up to her apartment and I was like, okay, I'm not waiting here anymore by myself. I go inside. She looks at me and she's like, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like I didn't tell her anything about how I felt. I didn't even say like, oh, I was uncomfortable outside. Like I kind of just made it vague. And I was like, oh, I just wanted to come in. So finally she's ready to go. We go back downstairs and I get back into my car and then she's like, oh, I forgot my charger in my car. Let me go grab it. So she goes to get the charger from her car. She comes back, sits next to me, and she looks at me and she's like, why did you come upstairs before? And I said to her, like, I don't know, what are you talking about? Like, it was nothing. I was just uncomfortable, like still being kind of vague. And then she said, are you sure it wasn't because you felt a woman was with you? And I was like, what? Like, how could you possibly know that that's what I had been feeling? Like, I didn't say anything, and it was such a strange feeling, and so I was, like, trying to, like, make all the excuses in the world for why it wasn't making sense. And she said, well, I was just leaning over in the car to get my charger out, and I thought you came up behind me and were trying to scare me. Like, she thought I was right behind her, and when she turned around, nobody was there, but she couldn't shake the feeling that there was a woman that was behind her.
Oh my gosh.
That's bizarre.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. So that for me opens up my mind to maybe there's more out there that I don't understand because I could not explain this very distinct feeling of the presence of a woman. And we've actually talked about that, I think, on one of the episodes. I might have cut it out in the edit, but I think in one of the episodes you had said, like, well, how would you know if it's male or female?
Oh,
Yeah, I did.
And I had said, like, well, my haunting, like my story
Remember you saying that.
was about it being a gender. And I was like, I don't know what I don't know what gender means in the paranormal world, you know? So
It just has an energy frequency.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, just like when, I mean, you still get like feelings when you're walking alone, the presence of a man versus a woman, they're different, especially if you're a woman. I mean,
Yeah, it's always it stands out. It's something that's noticeable. And I'm like, maybe gender is not like maybe sex doesn't exist on the other side because we don't have physical bodies, but maybe gender still is like the yin and the yang of
I don't think it's gender. I think it's masculine, feminine.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not the actual gender itself.
and also age. Like, I feel like you can tell the age of a presence.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
if it's a
that's
little kid,
true.
a child, or
like certain maturity
Old
level.
man. Yeah.
There's like a different energy to that.
Mhm.
That's crazy that like she was able to not just brush it off though. Because how many people
Don't say anything.
don't say anything or just brush it off like it, just ignore their intuition,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, very much so. So that is my introduction, I guess, to the paranormal, and that sparked lots of interest. But now it's time for Tales from the Shadows, where we're going to read some of your ghost stories. So, ghost stories. Our first story tonight comes from Denise Renee. Hello, Denise. Thank you for submitting a ghost story. We much appreciate it.
I think she might have two. One of them has two.
Okay, you may have two ghost stories in here.
We're going to find out.
We're about to find out. This is what Denise writes. Okay, so it's 1999 in a small town in Oklahoma. She's a home health coordinator at the time of this story. She was assigned to a house and heard rumors about the client she'd worked with before. It was May 2nd when she got to the house. Just an old, simple house. Living room, then dining room, then kitchen. It's a straight shot. Next door is an old cemetery, about 200 souls from the mid 1800s to about 1930s.
Okay.
She says all of this to say because it matters. The porch light switch clicks really loud and is hard to flip up and down. So the rumor was that if you stayed overnight, you'd wake up to find one shoe at the front door and the other at the back of the house by the back door.
Like your shoe or just random shoes?
She does not explain.
You can't ask questions.
Okay, Denise, was it your shoe or just a shoe?
Maybe we'll find out when she keeps going.
Right back.
Let's see what else she has to say.
I think she continued her story.
Yeah, she did. Imagine that was a whole story. Oh, I was more concerned with the events on the news that evening, the Columbine High School. Oh, that's sad. Okay. My client was asleep. It was a little after 10 p.m. I felt like a presence, like someone had entered the back of the house. I told myself to ignore it. It's just in my head. Just watch the TV, right? But the feeling grew. I felt a man was in the dining area. I refused to look to my left again. If I just watched the news and focused harder, he'd go away. Being the news was all about the high school, I really was just trying to ignore my gut. Then it happened. I felt him standing next to me. No. Then my hair, which was long at the time, gets just a lock pushed behind my ear. Ew. She said in almost an endearing way. I still lost it. Of course you did. I would have lost it too.
Oh God. Even if you were alive, I wouldn't want that done. To all you guys out there, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just randomly touch people without their permission.
Yes. I
And
had to
put
get
a
a
lock
tattoo
behind our ear.
telling people not to do that. You don't just touch people. But she says, flirt or not, I jumped up and ran out the door to the porch. Girl, it's not flirting when it's a ghost. You made the right move here. She said, after I convinced myself I imagined it, I went back in and watched the TV pretending nothing happened. I eventually kicked off my shoes and I nodded off for just a moment. It was morning. I reached for my shoes, but they were gone. I stood and looked at the front door. Yep, there's one shoe. I hurried straight back to the back door, and there was the other.
Why? I wonder, why?
Why the shoes? Does he have a foot fetish?
But why with each door? Why book in the house with shoes?
Is it symbolic of something?
There is an old German, I think it's German, one of my heritages. There's this, you put, I think it's German, you're supposed to put your shoes outside of your door at Christmas time, and then you get candy in your shoes. And there's like a story behind it that I'm blanking on, but
I feel like it's
I mean,
dark.
that's
It's,
basically.
I feel like it's
Are you
like
thinking of Krampus?
you're thinking of Krampus.
I feel like that's.
No, it's filled with candy and sweets. And
I feel like it's a. I don't know. I know the story though. Like if you don't, like I feel like if you don't leave your shoes out, like something happens.
I think that's like a scary movie version, but no, just the German version is like leaving your shoes out.
Okay. So Denise continues. I didn't imagine it. Not too long after, her coworker best friend showed up. Oh, just like us. Former coworkers, best friends. It's May 3rd. Oh, wait. What day did she start this? It was May 2nd. Okay, so May 3rd was the day after. And a tornado is barreling its way into my hometown. We are on the porch discussing that twister, and then I tell her about my ghost encounter. I said he pushed my hair behind my ear like a romantic gesture, and I kid you not, that hard to flip porch light started going on and off so fast that we both screamed and jumped off the porch.
Oh my god.
She said I did not work in that house again. I know the founder of the town is buried there, but I just found out that Fred Waite is buried there also.
Who's that?
I don't know.
He's assuming he's a bad dude.
She said he ran with Billy the Kid.
Oh.
So not Buffalo Bill, who I'm actually thinking of. Billy the Kid is bad. Buffalo Bill was like not the guy with the tornadoes.
Not Pecos.
Not Paul Bunyan.
Not Paul Bunyan.
Okay. So Denise finishes off by saying, like I said, I have a lot of experiences like this. I never felt scared. Nothing negative there. Thank you so much, Denise.
Yeah.
Great story. And please send more in if you have more.
Yes.
We want to hear them.
Any other houses you visit?
Yeah. So yeah, I wonder what it is about the shoes.
I don't know. It's weird that there's one like that he goes out of his way to put them there. Like, does he want you to trip when you leave the house?
Or is it like him like owning you? Like you know what I mean? Like keeping you in. I don't know. It just like feels like
Yeah.
or is he like just mischievous and he's just like means nothing?
Or is it some weird thing from Running with Billy and the Kid, like some like Western mob style, something with shoes and some message that happened?
Interesting.
And him like flicking the lights on and off like he was listening the whole time and like he's like pissed off. Yeah.
Okay. Before our next ghost story, Mel, do you want to pull a tarot card?
You darn tootin'.
You darn tootin'.
Ooh, Mel picked the card all the way to the left. She's pulling her card. She's now reading it.
What it's
10 of Pentacles.
10. Yes, there's
I don't like how it doesn't have the actual names on them.
10 of Pentacles.
The 10 of Pentacles is the card that Melanie drew. She's pulling up the rules. You have not spoken like Zach Bagans, not even once, Lauren.
There you go.
Okay. What was his new one? Roll.
Are we rolling?
Are we rolling?
Group challenge.
Group challenge.
Group challenge.
Dead people.
You see dead people?
No, I didn't. No, now we'll do
Fuck.
fuck, marry, kill, but the spooky version. The spooky version for dead people that you would.
Oh, who would you do a seance for?
Well, it's fuck, marry, kill, but ghost
But
edition.
this is the group game
Yeah,
that we're gonna do.
we're doing the group game for my card.
Yeah. Who would you salt? Who would you do a seance with? And what was the other one?
Summon.
Who would you summon?
Summon. Okay. Where'd it go? Because here we go.
But summon and seance, I feel like are the same thing.
No, they're not.
Okay, what's the difference?
So
Yeah, summon and seance are similar. I don't know about that one.
Sorry.
Lauren, can you pour me more rosé, please? Top me off, my good lady. Okay, so what is
Alright,
our summon,
so-
seance, salt?
summon, seance, salt, aka spooky version of fuck, marry, kill with dead people only. So summon would be a quick, chaotic visit, fun but risky. A seance.
Oh, like a one-night stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
A seance would be a deep spiritual connection.
Connection.
Connection. Do you have a connection? You want answers, intimacy, candles. So that's seance. And then salt is immediately no.
Okay.
Board, boundary, lining your windows, protect the house.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So ghost version. So I'm going to go first because I drew my card.
Okay.
Okay, go.
And I want to pick before Charlie does because she wants to do the same person. Okay. So
Don't pick the person I said earlier. That's cheating.
I feel the same way, and I'll tell you why.
She's stealing my man.
I would.
Okay. Well, we're doing it this way because it's my card. Okay, so I would summon.
I know you've got to think of a hot dead person.
I feel like they have been dead for at least 20 years.
Chaotic.
What? That's not fair. I don't even know anybody who's been like.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Honestly, though,
Houdini.
I was gonna do Houdini.
Okay, do it.
Well, okay, so
Do it.
all right, I would summon Houdini. Yeah, a nice little young Houdini. I would seance Heath Ledger because, and she's getting mad at me. Okay, when Heath Ledger died, okay, I kid you not, I'd had like multiple dreams about Heath Ledger.
He came to you?
He came in her.
He sure did. He came somewhere. No, but in the dream, like he was my spouse, like love of my life spouse, and it was the first like true celebrity death that really
Wait, is this before or after
affected me. Heath Ledger dying?
Yeah.
Before.
Okay.
Way before.
I had never cried over a celebrity dying, and then when Heath Ledger died, I cried.
Like I felt like I was like I know him because of our dream adventures.
I definitely did not cry.
And then Salt. I mean, I just immediately think Hitler.
That was my first thought too.
I mean, like, fuck off, Hitler. But you know what? I'm gonna take it another dictator out and say I would salt Francisco Franco of Spain.
Okay. That last one, the salting one, gets pretty dark when you think about how many bad people are dead. Okay, I'll go next. So summon, a reminder. Summon is a quick, chaotic visit, fun but risky. I would summon Jim Belushi. I feel like
John Belushi?
John Belushi. Is Jim the one who's still alive?
I don't think any Belushis are still alive.
Is there? Yes, there's one that's still alive. No?
Are you thinking of the Blues Brothers right now?
Yeah, hold on.
They're not actually brothers.
No. There's a John Belushi and a Jim Belushi. There was a show called According to Jim, and Jim Belushi was
I
on
thought
it.
Jim was still alive.
I think Jim's still alive.
There are two Belushis?
Yes, they are actually brothers. They are not the Blues Brothers. Jim Belushi. So, yeah, Jim Belushi, born June 15th, 1954. Happy early birthday, Jim Belushi. Glad to hear you're still alive. I meant John Belushi.
Yeah.
I was like, Jim Belushi's still alive.
John Belushi would be a great, quick, chaotic visit, fun but risky.
Okay.
That sounds like him. Yeah, and I feel like it'd be entertaining.
All right, there you go.
A seance, a deep spiritual connection. You want answers, intimacy, candles. I'm really mad at Mel right now for picking Heath Ledger because that was really
You can also pick
mine.
Heath Ledger.
I'm also going to pick Heath Ledger because that was my person. I cried when he died.
We both.
He got around.
I was going to marry him, okay? And then I would salt.
You don't want like Kurt Cobain? Any interest?
Is Giuliani still alive?
Just Julie.
Yes, he's still alive.
Yeah.
Rudy.
Rudy, thank you.
Oh, okay.
What other Giuliani do you know?
I didn't know if you were talking about the the big
I'm
Harvey
gonna solve
Weinstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
That's what I meant. Jeffrey Epstein.
That's who she thought I was.
That's who I
talking
meant when I
about.
said Harvey Weinstein. Jeffrey Epstein and the French chick.
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine
That's-
Maxwell.
Yeah,
No.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
I will salt Jeffrey Epstein. You fucker let all those little girls get screwed. And you did some of it. Not okay. We will
Maybe we
come
should-
for you. And
We should salt Diddy.
we should. He's alive.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Who?
Diddy.
Oh,
I had to pick somebody who was dead.
Yeah, you did. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's mine. What's yours?
Who you summoning for a little tete-a-tete?
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker. Damn it.
That's a good one.
And then is Devin Soya alive? Who are like the crushes of our childhood? Isn't Devin Soya dead? I think one of them is like the JTT group.
Devin Sawa. No, he's not dead. He's alive.
It was one of those though.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Wait, are you thinking of Dorfman? Stephen Dorfman?
No. Who was Devin Soya and JTT? Who was the other one?
What about River Phoenix?
Yeah, I'll do River Phoenix.
River Phoenix was
Actually, I'll do Kurt Cobain. I'll summon Kurt Cobain and I'll seance Paul Walker.
Okay, and then who are you salting?
And I'll salt Osama bin Laden.
Yeah.
That's a great one. So we've salted Hitler, Jeffrey Epstein.
No, I want to do Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh yeah, I did Francisco Franco. So.
Oh, sorry. Francisco Franco.
I'm going to salt.
Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
And then we also have Hitler and Osama bin Laden.
We're all like this.
Okay, we ready for our next
Tales from the Shadows. Sure.
So, story 2, I believe, also comes from Denise Renee. Thank you, Denise, again. Okay. She says, so this happened around 2015 in Greenville, South Carolina. I have family there.
Wait, where was she before?
The girl
Because it's the same person.
the same person. This was 1999 in Oklahoma. So now this is jumping ahead in Denise's life. We're now in 2015 in Greenville, South Carolina, where the land is clay and the weather is humid.
That was her spit.
That was
right
my
there.
own spin on it. She said, I know I'm sensitive to the other side. I have been since I was little. This one takes the cake. My hubby worked a steel mill.
A steel or a seal?
Steel, S-T-E-E-L.
All right, not.
What would a steel meal be?
It's where the seals shed and then you get seal mill. Oatmeal. From seals.
I think you said seal milk. And I was like, that's gross.
Seal meal. Oatmeal. Seal meal.
Okay. So he was working at a steel mill. He'd get off in the morning around 5 a.m. He'd come in. I sleep on my side. Most often, he'd lay his head on my hip and wrap his arms around me.
Wait, this is a ghost or
What are we talking about?
I know, this sounds sexual. No, it's her husband. So he, okay.
I was like, is this cute or am I scared?
Or am I turned on?
Yeah. What route? Where are you taking us, Denise?
So Denise's husband worked in a steel mill. He got off of work in the morning at 5 a.m. When he'd come home, she would be asleep on her side, and he'd lay his head on her hip and wrap his arms around her, which is very sweet.
Yeah.
She'd wake up and rub his head and go back to sleep. He'd go shower, then watch TV in our living room till he got tired. This was just a routine as a couple. She says, I'm a chicken if I'm alone. I'll still have the light on. Small lamp, bathroom light, or closet light. It's weird at my age, I know, but it's safer because some things in the dark are darker and you see them. Oh, that's terrifying. So this particular night, I've slept peacefully, nothing unusual. I feel my oh God. Okay. I feel my hubby come in and lay his head on my hip. I'm on my left side. I reach down my side with my eyes closed to rub his head. I'm rubbing his head, feel his weight on my hip and legs, except I realize I'm rubbing not his head, but the blanket, which is odd because he never goes under my blankets. Why is something under the blankets, Denise? I don't like this. You're supposed to be able to pull the blanket up above your head and nothing can get you.
Everyone knows that the blanket cannot be hot.
It cannot be under the blanket with you. That goes against the rules.
Yeah.
Nothing gets you.
Safety cloak.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is odd because he never goes under my blankets when he comes in from work. He stays on top of my blankets, then lifts away and says, "Hey, baby," or "love you," then goes out to do whatever. This time, he's under the blanket, lingering. I open my eyes, and just in that second, I see the clock by my bed. It's just after 3 a.m. Did he get off of work early?
Witching hour.
Oh, this is so scary. No time to really think because so fast yet in slow motion at the same time, I pull my hand away. He, whoever or whatever it is, crawls up my body, straddling me. No.
Keep going.
I felt this thing's full weight and I gasped for air. I'm thinking, Jesus, save me. And in that moment, on the back of my hair, it yells, "Your ass is mine."
Wait, she's laying on her back or her stomach?
Well, she's like on her side.
But I guess she's on her side, so she felt something behind her say, "Your ass is mine." She felt frozen in fear, but stuttered out, "Get out in the name of Jesus Christ." And it was gone. I screamed, I cried, I shook until my husband got home. Whatever dark, negative entity that attacked me was still there. I knew it. I was paralyzed for a split second. I honestly think it was demonic. We still lived there for 3 more years, but I didn't sleep in that room again. I slept on the couch, then moved our bedroom to a smaller one in the house.
How could you live there for 3 more years?
She said, "I think what bothered me the most was realizing it had been watching us, summing us up, noting our love language to use against us, to mimic my husband." Complete shudder.
So I'm guessing that's a mimic.
Sounds like a mimic.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, like is a mimic more than just vocal, like auditory mimic? Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that might be. So this sounds. The only thing is that she didn't see it. It didn't look like her husband as far as she knows. But a doppelganger is a ghost that mimics the way somebody you love looks. So it might have been a doppelganger. But she didn't see it.
But mimics can also like mimic the way you sound and like what you would say.
Oh, right. This is when I made the Mockingjay reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know the extent of like
It may not have been mimicry. It may have been like manipulation, kind of.
yeah, like
Still
demonic, like
yeah.
like because they're intelligent, so they can be intelligent, so they can.
What is a stupid one like?
Yeah.
No, really. But what is this like a dumb ghost like?
The ones that are just like knocking.
Yeah, like they got to be out there.
The ones that are putting
they're way more dumb people than smart people.
The ones that are putting a single shoe in the front of the house and one in the back of the house.
Maybe that was a dumb ghost.
There you go.
Thinking they're doing something there.
If y'all have stories about dumb ghosts,
Wait,
send them to
this was the same story, right? Both were Denise. The hair and the. I wonder if it was the same presence.
No, it's a different area. One Oklahoma.
Can't they follow you?
Well, they can, but this first one, it was like a decade apart, but also this first one, she had heard rumors about this house before. So like it sounds like that entity was attached to that house specifically. Yeah, but she also said she's sensitive, so maybe that's also part of the reason why she has 2 stories. Okay, whose turn is it to pick a card?
I think
Pick
it's
a
you.
card, any card. It's my turn.
Who's yours?
Tis me.
The lady.
I think we need to get more rosé.
Yes, there is another.
Tis another. Shall we pour
It's
more?
in the fridge.
Okay, that's it for part 1 of our debut episode of Rosé and Readings. We hope you've been enjoying it so far. The spirits are flowing, and we're heading to the fridge to top off our glasses because Planchetina demands it. We'll be back on Wednesday with part 2, where things get even spookier and somehow even less filtered. In the meantime, please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to Paranormal Playback on your favorite podcast app. And until next time, see you in the shadows.
Char pours the wine with a wicked grin. Now shuffles the cards where the tales begin. Lauren lights a candle, the shadows play. Whispers of ghosts keep the night at bay. Rosé and readings under the moonlight, tarot and laughter in the witching night. Spooky but sassy, the vibe's just right. Char, Mel, and Lauren make the dark so bright.